Learn languages with your favorite shows. Introduction. Imagine you are on your couch. You have a soft blanket. Your favorite TV show is ready. It feels so good, right? What if this simple fun could help you learn a new language? Many people think learning a language means old books and hard rules. It feels like work, not fun. It's easy to start, but it's easy to quit when it feels like a chore. What if learning could be as easy and fun as watching your next favorite show? This book will show you how to use your favorite movies, TV shows, and YouTube videos to learn a new language. We will use the time you already spend watching screens and make it useful for learning. We call this screen time language learning. It's a simple idea. Use the fun things you already like to learn. Forget boring grammar. We will learn in the most natural way, by hearing how people really talk. You will learn new words, understand different voices, and even learn cool slang, all while you have a good time. Why does this way of learning work so well? Think of it like being in a country where they speak that language. When you watch shows in the language you want to learn, you hear it a lot. And you hear it in real situations. This means you see and hear words used in real life. This makes them easier to understand and remember than just seeing them in a list. Books often teach formal language. But watching shows lets you hear how people naturally talk, the common things they say every day, and the small words that make a language sound real. Also, when you are enjoying what you watch, your brain is more ready to learn. You want to keep watching to find out what happens next. This helps you learn the language without feeling like you are studying. Our brains are made to learn from stories and pictures. This makes it a great way to learn. To make this even better, we will learn some simple, but very good tricks. One is called shadowing. It's like being an echo. You listen to a character speak and try to say it right after them. This is great for making your voice sound better and more like a native speaker. We will also talk about subtitles. Many people just read them. But we will show you how to use them in a smart way. They can help you find new words and understand hard parts. They are a tool, not just something to read. In the next parts of this book, we will help you step by step. We will help you pick the best shows for you. Then, we will learn more about tricks like shadowing and using subtitles the best way. When you finish this book, you will have a fun, good, and personal way to learn your language. It will all come from the screen time you already enjoy. So get ready to press play and start your screen time language learning journey. 1. Learning with TV shows and YouTube. I remember when I first started learning Spanish. I bought many books. I used flashcards until my eyes hurt. I even sat through boring online lessons that felt like they lasted forever. It was hard, frustrating work. I really wanted to speak Spanish. But every day, the pile of books felt heavier and my desire to learn felt smaller. Then one evening, I felt defeated. My favorite detective show from Spain, The Invisible River, was on. Usually, I watched it with English words on the screen. But that night, I changed them to Spanish. At first, it was a mess. I understood only a few words. The actors spoke so fast. But then something changed. I wasn't just watching, I was listening. I heard the natural flow of the language. I started to know small phrases. I even started to guess what a character might say next, based on their face and how they talked. That night was a big change. I understood that my job of studying could be fun. I could learn Spanish by doing something I already loved, watching my favorite shows. This is the main idea of screen time language learning. It's about using the shows and videos you already like to learn a new language. It means using your free time, the time you usually relax and watch things, to study. But it doesn't feel like studying because it's fun. This way uses the things you love to teach you new words like everyday talk, and helps you practice listening and speaking. We will talk about special ways to do this, like repeating what you hear. The goal is simple: make learning a language easy and fun by using the things you love to watch. Why are TV shows and YouTube so good for learning a language? When you watch a show or video in a language you want to learn, you don't just see and hear words, you enter a little world of that language. It's like being in that country right in your home. You hear how people really talk, not just perfect sentences from books, but everyday talk, quick sounds, sighs, and laughs. You also hear the rhythm and music of the language. Every language sounds different and flows in its own way. You can only really hear this by listening to people who speak it. Books are good for rules, but they can't show how people naturally speak. They can't show you a person's face when they say something funny, or how their voice changes when they are surprised. TV and YouTube give you all of this. It's everything: sound, sight, and culture. Learning a language can be hard. Some days, you might feel like you're not getting better. This is normal, but when you learn through shows and videos you truly enjoy, it's easier to keep going. Imagine choosing between doing another boring grammar exercise or watching a new episode of a show you love. Which one would you choose? Learning becomes less of a chore and more of a fun activity. You want to know what happens next in the story, and while you watch, you learn new words and understand more. This enjoyment is very important. It makes you want to keep watching, and the more you watch, the more you learn. It's a good cycle. And what about the language itself? This is where TV and YouTube are great. They give you the real language. Books often teach formal language, which is good, but it's not what people use every day. Think about how you talk to your friends. You use casual words, right? You use little phrases like "you know" or "like." These make speech sound natural. TV shows and YouTube videos are full of this real, everyday language. You'll learn special phrases where the meaning isn't clear from the words alone. You'll learn casual words that younger people use. You'll hear how people really say hello, goodbye, agree, disagree, and show feelings. This is the language that helps you connect with people and understand them when they aren't speaking slowly just for you. It's the language of real life. Just watching a show isn't quite enough. It's a great start and builds a good base. But to learn more, you need to do more. Think of it like this: you can stand by the edge of a swimming pool, or you can jump in and swim. Just watching is like touching the water. We want to jump in. This is where special methods come in. We'll learn how to use words on the screen subtitles smartly, not just having them on, but using them to help you learn. We'll also learn about shadowing, which is a very good way to practice speaking and how you say words. These active ways turn your screen time from just watching into powerful language learning. When you pick what to watch, find a balance. You want shows you truly enjoy, something that makes you laugh, cry, or keeps you excited. This is key to staying motivated, but also make sure it's not too hard. If you are just starting, watching a complicated show with very fast talking might be too much. You might feel sad because you don't understand much. On the other hand, watching something very simple, like a cartoon for very young children, might not teach you enough new words or complex sentences to be truly helpful if you are a bit better at the language. So, what's the best choice? For beginners, maybe start with shows that have clear talking and visual clues to help you understand. Children's shows can be good for learning basic words and simple sentences. As you get a little better, you can watch shows with more complex stories and faster talking. YouTube is great because there are videos about anything you can imagine. Want to learn about cooking? There are many cooking channels. Like travel? You'll find many travel videos. You can even find channels made for language learners, which often speak a bit slower and explain things more clearly. The best way is often to try different things. Try a few types of shows and videos. See what you like. What makes you keep watching? What makes you feel like you're learning something new, even if it's just 1 or 2 words? A problem can be choosing content that is too hard. If you watch a show for an hour and feel like you understood almost nothing, you might feel discouraged. This can happen if the words are too specific or the talking is too fast. It's like trying to run a long race without any practice. It will be very hard and might make you want to quit. Another problem is only using words on the screen in your own language. While they help you follow the story, they can become a habit. Your brain might start reading the words instead of listening to the language being spoken. This is why we will talk later about using words on the screen in the language you are learning, or sometimes not using them at all. The goal is to train your ears to understand the spoken words directly. The wonderful part of screen time language learning is that it fits into your life. You don't need to find extra hours in your day to study separately. You are already watching shows and videos. Why not make that time work better for you? You can choose content that matches your interests, making learning truly fun. This isn't about making yourself watch something you dislike. It's about finding the magic in the media you already love. It's about discovering that the characters you cheer for, the stories that hold your attention, can also be your best language teachers. So, by using the rich, real language found in our favorite on-screen content, we've found a powerful new way to learn a language. But how do we go beyond just watching and actually learn from it? The next step is to learn the specific, useful methods that turn watching into active practice, starting with the surprisingly helpful way called shadowing. 2. Making screen time educational. I remember when I first wanted to learn Spanish. I loved Spanish music. I thought it would be fun to order food like people who live there. So I found a TV show. It was a long, dramatic show like a soap opera. Every day after work, I sat on the couch and watched it. I heard Spanish sounds while I looked at my phone or thought about dinner. Sometimes, a word sounded like an English word, but mostly, it was just noise. Nice loud noise, but still noise. Weeks went by, then months. I felt a little more used to hearing the language. But I could not say one sentence. I could not ask for directions. I could not understand a joke. It made me feel bad. I spent time watching, but I was not learning. I was stuck. I call this the passive watching trap. This happens a lot when we try to use shows and videos to learn a language. We think, if I just hear it enough, it will stick. Hearing the language is important. It helps you get used to the sounds and how the words flow together. This is part of what we call screen time language learning. We use fun things we like to watch to study a new language. It is a great idea because it feels less like work. But here is the important part. You cannot learn to play the piano by only listening to music. You cannot learn a language by only listening. You have to do something with it. The main difference between watching for fun and watching to learn is how much you pay attention. When you watch for fun, your brain is relaxed. You are just enjoying the story. Your goal is to have fun. When you watch to learn, you change how you think. You become like a detective. Your brain is working hard, looking for clues, trying to figure things out. Your goal is to understand. This active paying attention is what truly helps you learn the language. Just hearing the language might make it feel a little familiar. It is like walking in a city where you don't speak the language. You see things, you hear things, but you don't really understand what is happening. You might learn the word for bread because you see people buy it every day. But you won't know how to ask for a special kind of bread or talk about how it tastes. Learning actively is like going to a bakery, pointing, asking questions, and trying to understand the answers. It is about connecting with the language. So, how do we change how we watch? How do we go from just sitting on the couch with a remote to being a language learning expert? It starts with a simple but strong change. You're thinking. Imagine visiting a museum. You could walk around without really looking at the art. Or you could decide, today, I want to understand this type of art. You might get a map, read the signs, or join a tour. You go to the museum with a goal to learn. You need to think the same way when you watch shows. You are not just watching a show. You are in a language learning space. You are making your fun time into study time, and it is enjoyable and works well. This change in thinking means being curious. When you hear a word you don't know, instead of letting it go by, you stop. You might even write it down. When a character speaks fast, instead of getting lost, you go back and listen again. You might ask yourself, what did they just say? How did they say it? This willingness to stop, to go back, to ask questions is the mark of an active learner. It is about being on purpose. It is about knowing that every scene, every talk, is a chance to learn. This purpose is what makes screen time language learning really work. It's not just about what you watch, but how you watch it. Picking content that is a little bit hard is important. This is often called comprehensible input. It means the material is something you can understand most of, but not all of. If it's too easy, you won't learn anything new. If it's too hard, you'll get upset and stop. Finding the right amount of challenge is key. But even with the right content, you need a plan. Just pressing play is not enough. You need to set goals for each time you watch. What kind of goals? They can be small and very clear. Before you watch an episode of your favorite show, you could decide, today, I will listen closely for all the ways people say thank you in this episode. Or, if you watch a nature show, your goal might be, I want to understand the main idea of this art, even if I don't hear every word. For a cooking show, you might try to learn 5 new words about cooking or food. These are not big, hard tasks. They are small, easy steps that help you focus and feel good when you reach them. This turns just watching into a focused learning time. You are not just a viewer. You are an active part of your own language learning. My own journey from just watching to actively learning happened slowly. After my TV show idea didn't work, I found a new way. I found a show I liked. This time, I decided to be more focused. I started using subtitles in a different way. Instead of always using English subtitles, I tried watching with Spanish subtitles. This was hard at first. I had to stop many times. I had to write down words I saw a lot. Then I learned a technique called shadowing. I will explain more about it later. But basically, it means repeating what the actors say, almost at the same time they say it. It felt strange at first, like I was talking to myself in a funny voice. But it made me pay attention to how the words sounded, the rhythm, and the way they spoke. It was active. It was engaging. And guess what? I started understanding more. I started remembering words and phrases. My Spanish began to get better. I could not just think it, I could actually speak it. This small change in how I watched made a big difference. This taught me that screen time language learning works best when we use our screens as tools, not just toys. It's about building your own language learning kit. We need more than just a remote control. We need ways and methods that actively pull the language from the screen into our minds. Think of it like this: if you are building something, you need more than just wood. You need hammers, saws, and nails. To build language skills, you need special tools. These tools help us connect hearing a language with actually using it. They help us go from knowing words to understanding sentences, and from understanding sentences to making our own. They change the experience from just letting the language flow over you to actively jumping in and swimming. When you just let the language flow over you, you might feel like you are in the ocean, but you are just floating on top. You are not exploring the deep parts. Using these tools is like putting on a mask to look underwater. You go deeper, see more, and truly understand what is happening below the surface. So, we know that just pressing play is not enough. To truly use the power of your favorite shows and videos, you need to get ready with the right methods. In the next parts, we will look at the specific ways that will change your screen time from just watching into an active language learning space. We will learn how to use subtitles the right way, how to practice speaking by repeating what you hear, and how to take notes that truly help you learn. Get ready to turn your long watching sessions into a real language breakthrough. 3. Practicing with shadowing techniques. Have you ever heard someone speak a language you are learning and thought they make it sound so easy? I wish I could sound like that. I have felt that way too. For a long time, I only listened. I understood many words, but when I tried to speak, it felt slow and awkward. It did not sound like the people I heard on my favorite shows. My mouth just did not make the right shapes. It was hard, like trying to sing a song perfectly without ever practicing the notes. Then I found a way to learn that changed everything for me. It is called shadowing. It is very simple, but it works very well. Think about your shadow. It follows you everywhere and copies everything you do. Shadowing is like that, but with your voice. When you shadow, you listen to someone speak in the language you want to learn. You try to say what they say at almost the same time they say it. Imagine you are an echo or a sound copy. You are not just saying the words, you are trying to copy the sound, the speed, and the music of their voice. You become like the shadow of a person who speaks the language well. This is not just about saying words loudly or fast. It is about copying the small things that make speech sound real. It is about how a sentence goes up and down, the small pauses, and how one word can join with the next. When we first learn a language, we often try to get the words right. But speaking well is not just knowing words, it is sounding like you belong. Shadowing helps us get there. It teaches your mouth to make new sounds and your ears to hear them perfectly. It is a key part of screen time language learning. It turns what you watch into practice. Instead of just watching a character, you become like them with your voice. So, why does talking at the same time as someone else work so well? It is not magic. It is a smart way to use your brain and your body. Think about learning to ride a bike. You can read books and watch videos, but you have to get on the bike and try. Your body learns. Shadowing is like that for your mouth. First, it builds muscle memory for your mouth. Your tongue, your lips, and your jaw all move in new ways to make new sounds. When you shadow, you tell these muscles exactly how to move, how to shape sounds that may be new to you. It is like a workout for your speaking muscles. The more you do it, the easier and more natural these movements become. You train your mouth to make the right sounds without you having to think about every small movement. This physical practice makes your pronunciation much better. Second, shadowing makes your ears better at hearing differences. This means your ears get better at hearing small differences between sounds. For example, in English, the difference between ship and sheep is just one vowel sound. But to someone learning, they might sound very similar. When you try to copy someone who speaks the language, you have to listen very closely. You start to hear the small ways they make those sounds. Your brain begins to notice the small details in the language that you might have missed when you were just listening without trying. This better listening helps you speak more clearly and correctly. Third, it helps you learn the rhythm and flow of the language. Every language has its own special music. Some languages sound quick and choppy, others sound smooth and long. There is a natural beat that native speakers follow without thinking. Shadowing helps you learn this rhythm. You start to copy where the emphasis is, how the voice goes up and down in sentences, and where the natural stops are. It is like learning to dance to the music of the language. When you can copy that rhythm, your speech sounds more natural and is easier for native speakers to understand. It is not just saying the right words, it is saying them with the right feeling and timing. Finally, and this is very important, shadowing builds your confidence. When you are starting, speaking can be scary. You worry about making mistakes or not being understood. Shadowing lets you practice speaking in a safe, easy way. You do not have to have a conversation, you are just repeating. This repetition makes you feel more comfortable speaking. You get used to hearing your own voice speak the new language. Every time you copy a phrase or sentence well, it is a small win that makes you feel more confident. This confidence is needed when you start to have real conversations. You will feel more ready to try, more willing to take risks, because you have already practiced speaking so much. It is a direct way to feel more comfortable and able in your new language. Now, how do you actually do this shadowing with the shows and videos you love? It is easier than you might think, and you can start right away. The key is to make it easy and fun, not too hard. My best advice is to choose short clips. Do not try to shadow a whole episode. That is too much. Find a scene that is about 15 to 30 seconds long. This is just enough time to get into the rhythm of a speaker without feeling lost. Many video players let you repeat short parts easily, which is perfect for this. Before you try to speak, listen first, then shadow. Play the clip a few times just to hear the words. Get a feel for how fast they are talking, their tone, and who is speaking. Listen to the sounds. Once you understand what is being said, then you can try to shadow. When you are starting, it is best to focus on one speaker. Choose a character whose voice you like or whose words are easy to hear. Trying to copy many speakers at once can be very confusing at first. Stick with one person's voice until you feel comfortable. And here is a very important tip: do not worry about being perfect at first. You will not sound exactly like the actor the first time you try. You might make mistakes, you might miss words, you might say sounds wrong. That is okay. The goal is to try. Every try is practice. Being correct will come with time and practice. Think of it like a child learning to speak. They do not get it perfect right away, but they keep trying, and they get better. Your goal now is to use your speaking muscles and your listening skills. Sometimes, the words might be too fast. Most video players have a speed control. You can change the speed. Try slowing it down just a little, maybe to 0.75 times the normal speed. This gives you more time to understand what you hear and to make your own sounds. As you get better, you can slowly make the speed faster again. And finally, the most important part of making shadowing work: repeat, repeat, repeat. Do not just shadow a clip one time and then stop. Do the same short part many times. Shadow it 5 times, 10 times, or even more. Each time you repeat, you make your pronunciation better, you notice new details, and you learn the rhythm. The more you repeat, the more those sounds and that flow become part of you. This dedicated practice truly trains your brain and your mouth. As you shadow, what exactly should you listen for and try to copy? It is more than just the words themselves. Pay attention to individual sounds. Are there specific vowels or consonants that are hard for you? Maybe the TH sound in English or a vowel sound in another language. When you shadow, focus on how the speaker's mouth moves and how they make these difficult sounds. Listen to word stress. In many languages, which part of a word you say louder changes its meaning or simply makes it sound right. For example, in English, we say R echoed a thing but record an action. Shadowing helps you hear which part of the word is stressed. Also, notice sentence stress. Not all words in a sentence are said with the same importance. Native speakers naturally emphasize the most important words in a sentence. Shadowing helps you copy this natural emphasis. making your speech sound more interesting and easier to follow. Then there is intonation. This is how your voice goes up and down. It tells us if someone is asking a question, saying something for sure, or is surprised. A voice that stays flat sounds strange. Listen to how a speaker's voice goes up at the end of a question or goes down at the end of a statement. Copy that musical sound. And do not forget connected speech. In real, fast speech, words often join together. For example, going to often sounds like gonna and want to can sound like wanna. Native speakers do this all the time. Shadowing helps you hear and copy these natural ways words join, making your speech sound much smoother and more real. Now, you might be thinking, this sounds good. But what if I accidentally learn to say something wrong and keep repeating the mistake? That is a very good question, and it can happen with shadowing. It is true that if you keep saying something wrong and repeat it, you could make that mistake stronger. How can you avoid this? First, start with clear speakers. Choose characters or speakers who talk very clearly and at a normal speed. Avoid characters who talk quietly, speak very fast, or have very strong, unusual accents when you are just beginning. Many language learning materials or YouTube channels focus on clear pronunciation. Second, use subtitles the right way. While this part is about shadowing, do not be afraid to use subtitles in the language you are learning, not your own language. To check if you understand. If you are not sure about a sound, you can pause, look at the subtitle, and then try to copy the word. It is a way to check yourself. Third, record yourself. This might feel a little strange at first, but it is very helpful. Shadow a clip, and then record yourself doing the same clip. Then, listen to your recording and the original clip at the same time. You will clearly hear where your pronunciation is different from the native speaker. This ability to correct yourself is powerful. You can then focus your shadowing practice on the specific sounds or phrases you were saying wrong. Fourth, use different sources. Do not shadow the same one or two characters all the time. Listen to different speakers, different types of shows, different accents when you feel more comfortable. This helps you hear many correct ways of speaking and stops you from getting stuck on only one way. Finally, do not be afraid to use other tools. If you are really having trouble with a specific sound, look up how to say it. There are many videos online that show how to move your mouth and tongue to make specific sounds in different languages. Use these tools to help you understand how to make the sound, and then go back to shadowing to practice saying it. Shadowing is a very active way to use the entertainment you love to learn a language. It is a method that directly improves pronunciation, intonation, and speaking smoothly, making you a more confident and natural speaker. It truly shows the idea of screen time language learning by changing watching from something you do without thinking into active speaking practice. You are not just taking in the language, you are starting to produce it, shaping it with your own voice. While shadowing makes your speaking and listening skills better by making you copy actively, the next important step is to make sure you are not just repeating sounds, but understanding the meaning behind them. This leads us to a smart way to use subtitles, where we will learn how to use them not as something to rely on too much, but as a powerful tool to understand and learn new words. 4. Using subtitles for better skills. Watching your favorite shows is fun, but the small words on the screen, called subtitles, can help you learn a new language. Using subtitles the right way can help you understand more, learn new words, and sound more natural. This is part of learning with shows, which we call screen time language learning. When you first hear a show in a new language, it might sound like noise. You might hear a word here and there, but it's mostly confusing. Subtitles are like a bridge. They connect the sounds you hear with the words you see written. This helps your brain link spoken words with written words. This makes new words easier to remember. It's not just about the story, it's about connecting what you hear and what you read. This helps you learn better. There are different ways to use subtitles. Some ways are better for learning. The best way for screen time language learning is to use subtitles in the language you are learning. Let's call these target language subtitles. If you learn Spanish, watch with Spanish subtitles. This makes your brain work with the language. You hear Spanish and see Spanish. You don't need another language to understand. This helps you learn how words sound, how they are spelled, and how people really talk. You will notice slang and common phrases you might miss otherwise. It's like being in the language with a guide on the screen. When you are new, or if a show is very fast or uses hard words, only Spanish subtitles might be too much. That's okay. For very new learners or hard shows, use subtitles in your own language. Let's call these native language subtitles. This helps you follow the story. But this should be for a short time. If you always use native language subtitles, they can become a habit you rely on too much. You might just read and stop listening to the real language. Your brain might focus on reading your own language and the new language sounds become background noise. This is not good for learning spoken language. To learn well, you need to try hard. The goal is to not need native language subtitles. You want to watch and understand by just listening, but it's okay to start with help from subtitles. How do you stop relying on them and start learning with subtitles? Switch to target language subtitles when you can. When can you switch? When you can follow the main story with target language subtitles, even if you don't know every word. If you keep looking at native language subtitles to understand, it might be too soon. But if you get the main idea from target language subtitles, you are ready. Start with shows you know well or shows that are slower. You can watch a part with native language subtitles first to know the story, then watch it again with target language subtitles to focus on the language. This way, you don't miss the story and you practice the language. A great thing about target language subtitles is learning more words. Every show has new words and phrases. When you see a word you don't know, you can learn it. Don't ignore it. You can pause the show. Look up the word in a dictionary. Write it down. Try to remember it by thinking about how it was used. Was it used when someone was happy or sad? The more you do this, the more words you learn. It's like finding treasures in every episode. Think about your favorite characters. What words do they use? Do they use slang or special phrases? You will see these words in the subtitles. This is real language, not just book words. By looking up and writing down these words, you make your watching time into learning time. This is what screen time language learning is about, learning from what you like. Instead of boring word cards, you learn words from characters you enjoy watching. Subtitles also help you hear better. When you hear a word and see it spelled, your brain makes a stronger link. This helps you hear different sounds. You start to understand the rhythm of the language. Some words sound alike in a new language. Subtitles help you know the difference because you see the spelling. For example, in English, there, and there can sound the same. But seeing them written helps you tell them apart. This also helps you understand fast talking. As you match sounds to words, you will understand conversations even when people talk quickly. It's like playing a sport. The more you practice, the better you get. Subtitles can also help you say words better. When you hear a word, seeing how it's spelled can help you say it right. For example, in English, some letters are not spoken, like the K in no or the B in climb. If you only listen, you might not know these letters are there. But seeing them in subtitles helps you know the full spelling. This can also help with how you stress words and link them. You might see how some parts of a word are said louder, or how words connect in a sentence. Seeing the written word with the spoken word helps you learn these patterns. It's not perfect for saying words, but it's a very helpful start. It gives you something to see when you hear. Let's talk again about when to switch from native language subtitles to target language subtitles. It's a slow change, and it's okay to go slowly. Try it out. Watch a short scene, maybe 5 minutes, with target language subtitles. Then ask yourself, did I get the main idea? Did I learn any new words? Did I feel like I was learning the language or just reading? If you felt like you were learning and could follow, great. Try a longer part next time. If it was too hard and you were lost, it's okay to use native language subtitles a bit longer or try an easier show. You might start to guess what words mean from how they are used, even if you don't know the exact meaning. That's a great sign you are ready to use target language subtitles more. To learn new words well, you can do more than just look them up. Keep a notebook or a digital list for words from shows. When you watch an episode, write down words or phrases that seem interesting or that you hear a lot. You don't have to look them up right away. After watching, or the next day, look up their meanings. You can use apps for flashcards. Create digital flashcards from your list. This way, you don't just see the word, you practice it. Another good way is to focus on phrases, not just single words. Languages use groups of words that go together. Seeing these phrases in subtitles and learning them as a group helps you sound more natural. For example, instead of just learning go, you might learn go out or go ahead from the subtitles. Writing down and reviewing words like this makes screen time language learning work well. It turns watching into studying. The biggest problem with subtitles is this: they help you understand the story now, but they can stop you from really hearing the language if you're not careful. Always using native language subtitles is an easy mistake. How do you stop? Be on purpose. Make a rule. For this episode, I will only use target language subtitles. Or, I will watch half with native language subtitles and half with target language subtitles. Slowly use native language subtitles less. You can also try watching a show you love with no subtitles, just to see how much you understand. Don't worry if you don't understand everything. The goal is not to understand 100% right away. It's to make your listening skills better. Every time you try to understand without native language subtitles, you make your ears stronger and get closer to speaking the language well. It takes practice, but you will understand the language as it is truly spoken. Using subtitles is a great step in your screen time language learning. They connect sounds and meaning. By choosing the right subtitles, ideally the target language, and by paying attention to the words you see, you can get much better at vocabulary, listening, and even saying words. But remember, watching and reading is only part of it. To learn a language well, you need to use your voice. Subtitles show you the language, but to really learn what you hear, you must practice saying it. The next important step to make your screen time useful is to do more than just read and listen. You need to start speaking along with your favorite characters by repeating what they say. Conclusion: you made it to the end. We explored how your favorite shows and videos are great tools for learning a new language. You learned how to watch shows to learn, not just for fun. It's like turning your playtime into study time. Learning with shows you like makes it fun. You can copy how actors speak to sound more like a native speaker. Using subtitles can help you understand every word. You are learning real words that people use every day. This way of learning is special because you do what you enjoy. Instead of boring grammar rules, you learn with stories and characters you like. This helps you remember new words and phrases better. Think of it like building with your favorite toys. You are not just learning a language, you are learning about new cultures and feeling more confident. As you get better, you can watch harder shows. You are not really studying like before. You are just watching something you like, and the language learning happens by itself. You choose what to watch and how to learn, making it your own special adventure. Learning a language is a trip, not a race. It's like exploring a new place. To keep going, find new shows. If you are new to a language, watch shows for kids because they use simple words. As you learn more, watch funny shows or exciting stories. Try different ways to learn. Keep copying actors, but also stop to look up words you don't know. You can even tell a friend what happened in an episode. Make small goals like watching one episode without subtitles or learning 5 new slang words. It's better to learn a little every day than a lot once in a while. If you get stuck, try a different kind of show or learn words from another language. The tips in this book are yours to use. Imagine in a few months or a year. You might understand conversations easily, watch movies without subtitles, and talk to people from other countries. This can happen because you found a way to learn that is fun and works for you. Your screen time can open doors to new experiences. It's a way to explore new cultures and meet new people. This method gives you the power to open these doors. So, keep watching, keep practicing, and most of all, keep having fun. Your language adventure goes on, and the world is waiting for you to discover it, one show at a time.